And we are live. Can everyone see us? Just check. If in the comments, we're just testing this out. It's a new platform. If you can hear us in the comments, let us know. Say hello. Hello, everyone. If everyone can say hello, we would love to hear from you. In the future, as you guys are, oh, perfect. We have a hello. Assad, hello. Thank you so much. There we go. I love it. That's it. We're here. We're live streaming. We're testing out different options, and we're seeing what's gonna happen. We just want to get the gamified education news out there. Danny's coming on soon, within the minutes. So we just love to hear from you. If you can hear us, then say hello. And we are going. There we go. Here we go, Danny.
Boys and girls.
See. Hello. We are live with Danny. There we go. Perfect. I just wanted to, yeah. So there we go. We're just gonna be having. Let's see.
How are you, Joshua?
How are you? I'm great. I am an uncle, so I'm excited about that. So that's exciting. With yeah. So let's see. Getting this new format.
And I just got a message from my head of product saying that she became a mom and she has a daughter.
Oh, adding new ones to the little lives. Adding. We're actually going to talk about that today. You get to record those memories, right? Those memories of becoming a parent, becoming an uncle. So we'll discuss that today. And how do you gamify that around that stronger connection? That's going to be exciting. So as we get more and more people, we're going to wait for a few people as they come online. As the team shares across social media, we see that going live across our socials. We're going to just share that out to shout out to everyone. And then I'm getting used to different things. Okay, Larita, thank you so much for saying hello. I'm glad we're testing it out, testing the waters, seeing different platforms, what works and what doesn't. So we're going to wait a few more minutes. Danny, you're in Austin, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting ready for South by. That'll be good. Okay, so we're going to be coming here, and just so everyone knows, play to learn /gamified. We're going to be going in, and we're going to be sharing screen. Abdullah, we will be sharing the screen, but everyone basically going around playtolearn.com/gamified, and then that's going to be what we're going to focus on. We're not going to be really sharing screen, but we're just going to go over the same gamified education as a brand strategy. We're just going to go over that and really just focus on that again every week at noon live, and we're going to share that focus around what we've gone over before with the 79 people in current.com that study around gamified education. And Danny here has a company, and he'll tell you about it more, but he is targeting the younger crowd as well, and really trying to create a greater bond, a deeper bond for the family to unite. And we're going to discuss that. And any brand has that desire for brand engagement to engage a community, but then in this sense, you even have a smaller community within your own family, having that bond between the grandparents, the parents, the children. So, and happy Valentine's, everyone. Wearing a little red for the day. So happy Valentine's for everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear us. I think we're going to get going. I think the team has shared the link. We're live across social, and let's test it out. So Danny, I just wanted to start with welcoming you. Just Danny Feltzman, and
That's
thank
me.
you so
That's
much.
me. Just give me 1 second. I have my kid who's just writing me a message. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'll introduce
Yes.
myself.
Yes, we have to. The children out there, parents, we know that their priorities. So seeing that, where is he in today? He's in Russia, right?
We can't talk about that.
Okay. Yes, we can't talk about that. Yes. Okay. Cool. So yes, now that you've gotten the text, you responded. We are
Hold on.
responsible parents. Now,
1 second. No, I mean, yeah, let me. Oh, there it is. Okay, boom. Hold on. Hold on. I'm really sorry. I just have to do this, otherwise it's going to be too late.
okay.
But yeah, my kid. I just. All right. So this is what I'm doing. So if you guys are curious, my kid just got his first Nintendo Switch, which I gave to him for his birthday. Right. And we just set it up, and he is 9 hours ahead of time here. So I need to send him the game that he's going to play for the first time ever. And I'm going to do that in 5.
This is exciting.
3.
It's exciting. So we have a countdown for the birthday. Everyone.
All right, that's it.
I
I'm
love
done.
it. We did it. We saw that real time. And what's his name?
My kid's name is Miron.
Miron. So Miron got his birthday present, Nintendo. So we're talking about gamified education, and that segue. This is all about gamified education. So gamifying that learning experience, that flow state learning. What does that look like? We're here to discuss it today. Danny Feltzman, why don't you explain what you're doing around the space and really gamifying the community of family coming together in a tighter knit community?
Sure. So happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it. What I'm working on is creating a online platform that helps families share memories, life lessons, family history with children and grandchildren. We want to create a family-focused alternative to toxic, commercially driven social media that's proven to tear at the fabric of parent-child relationships as opposed to strengthening family bonds, right? I came up with the idea when I became a parent, and I realized I don't want him to be looking at my Instagram and my Facebook to get an idea of like who his dad was and what I wanted to leave behind. And there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of memories, and there's a lot of information about my family and our family history that I want to share with him, except I didn't know how. So it's a little bit, odd that we have social media platforms to kind of help us manage every personal and professional relationship we make in our life, except for, the relationship that we have with our kids. So that's what we're working on. That's kind of the mission. And in terms of, how to make an actual product, we are obviously incorporating, different gamification strategies in our UI and UX. Right? We want to make it fun. We want to make it interesting for both parents and grandparents to use and be engaged with, and then also for kids as well. Because if you just, like for example, one of the alternative things that parents do is create an email for their kid, and then they just write them like 2,500 emails within the span of 10 years, and then they give the kid the password at a certain age. But that's not going to be fun for the kid. I mean, you don't want to open up
exactly. We have to gamify that. Exactly.
Yeah. So the question,
to bring it to life.
Yeah. So the question is like, how do we do that, in one context, which is ours, and then I like the reason why we're chatting is because I really like what you guys are doing in terms of helping kids learn things through a gamified way and doing it online, because obviously kids are spending a lot of time on Roblox, in Minecraft, in Fortnite, and sometimes I ask myself, like, what the hell are they actually learning, and what the hell is the point of spending all this time there? Right? They get to see their friends, they get to do some stuff, but is it really beneficial? So the idea of teaching kids certain things through these platforms is it's important.
Yeah, no, 100%. Okay, so we'll get basically right into it, and then if anyone has any questions, then we'll get into that as well. This is basically just for those who are now watching this. I would love to just watch basically this for a second. The white paper that we've done with current.com, 79 experts, gamified education as a brand strategy. We're going to go over this every week at noon on Tuesdays, noon Central. This is just for you to download and for your expert just any experts, their advice, basically to the space as a whole. We're going to go over this today. And again, this is extracted from this white paper is the questions that you can see and you can follow along on playtolearn.com/gamified. And so we're going to go over those right now. This is just kind of for you to see. I'm going to take this off the screen so we can just have more of a fireside chat. But for anyone that wants to see this and download it, go to playtolearn.com/gamified. I just put it in the comments, and I would love to actually go into this now with Danny. So Danny, as you gamifying your community, we've now seen the needs and drivers for change. As we start off with, we talk about NFTs, the future of brand engagement. You come from a more Web 2 background. What does that look? What does that look like in terms of that engagement, that future brand engagement? What does that look like for the needs and drivers for change?
What do you mean? Sorry, in what context? In the context of what we're building?
Yeah, no, in general for brands. So the needs and drivers for change in terms of the future of brand engagement. What does that look like? As we talk about NFTs, I mean, you may be doing something else, but when you gamify that engagement between your grandmothers, grandpas, your family members.
I mean, look, you know my position on this stuff. Like, I'm not going to be running ads on our platform, at least not in the short term, right? So, I'm not sure if our platform, and I've probably, it should be a target for like companies to try to like sell their stuff. Although, further on down the line, sure, like if we're not going to be showing ads to kids, then that's fine. Then we could be able to target like parents and grandparents. But, if we're going to start, if what I'm doing, if we're going to start kind of targeting ads and showing stuff to parents and kids.
Well, no, it's not really ads. It's more
really different than like a social media platform, right?
Right. It's not ads really per se. It's more the engagement of the grandfather and the grandmother connecting with the parent and then connecting with the child. That engagement and as a whole, like how do you become an Apple level fanatic, right? Of like living and breathing that, where you're living and breathing that brand without ever doing anything, right? And that's what I'm saying. As you engage your audience in that brand community, what does that brand engagement look like as you gamify it through? I mean, some people are doing through NFTs and social tokens and
you're talking about our brand. What are we going to be doing?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, your brand.
Okay. All right. So you're talking about us. I mean, look, I'm focused on Web 2 right now, right? I'm not going to start getting into NFTs and doing all this like tokenization and things like that. I mean, unless those things are going to add true value to what we're building and there's a need for it, like without creating an NFT or without putting this on blockchain, then something won't work, then fine, we'll do it. But I'm not really, you know me, I'm not looking there just yet. Especially with, all the hype that went around, like all these different NFT projects and tokens and all this stuff that's been going on, like 99.65% of those projects are completely worthless and dead. Right.
Yeah.
And that actually, I hate to sound like a, bad person, but I'm actually happy that that's the case because a lot of it was just BS and hype. I mean, like companies that were raising money and what they were doing was just complete ridiculousness. And then we reacted to that. Right. So, but us as a brand, I mean, look, we're going to be kind of holding the torch about, why social media in its current form does more harm than good, why people have to switch their attention from, showing off to look cool in front of their friends to actually showing off to look cool in front of your kids. Right.
Yeah.
One of our kind of like the marketing slogans is like, be your child's first and most important influencer, right? That should be you. Because if it's not going to be you, it's going to be some other person,
right.
doing God knows what with God knows what motivations to, influence your children to do, one or, God knows what. So, we're going to be launching social media stuff. We're going to be doing a podcast. We're going to be doing search engine optimization, content marketing. We're going to be speaking at conferences and, we want to be, there's a lot of copycats out there. Like our company's existed since 2017. Generation Transfer is the name of the company. And there's been a lot of copycats that are going to try to go out there and be like, oh yeah, we're also creating a family focused social media platform. I'm hoping that our user experience, the UI, UX, the history of our company and what we stand for as a company and as a brand will be the kind of, defining factor in terms of why somebody would use our platform versus
Yeah.
another. Like if Facebook were to come around and say, hey, we're also creating a family archive app, we're going to be like, well, F you guys, because you guys are not
Mhm.
about the family. You're not about that. You know what I mean? Like you're,
Yeah.
commercial big brother, like government psyop.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm joking,
Yeah.
but I don't think they have the reputation to do something
Yeah.
like that. I don't think people are going to believe them.
Right.
So,
So, in terms of gamification, since we're discussing gamification here, regardless of Web3, and it's very interesting. And I love the devil's advocate being able to play both sides, to understand both sides, right? The gaming industry, they're heavily against Web3, NFT, crypto, etc. It's very interesting to see that side, right? So,
mhm.
I would love to see. I mean, I'd love to hear, since it is proven though, the intake of information when you gamify it, it's more, you retain more information, right, in the minds of the audience, right? So how do you, in your mind, gamify that experience when you discuss this? So without getting off topic, I think that's what the idea of this discussion today will be, really gamifying that experience for a Web2 crowd, and then bringing in more and more Web3. So basically, in despite the market conditions of Web3, how do you, I guess, in our minds, in the downturn, like you said, there's a lot of hype. So how do we create real utility? And I think that that's what this discussion is as well, as bringing in weekly discussions that is both sides. We have both sides of the aisle. We have both sides of understanding this space, to understand value in a way that everyone can understand. And I think that that's what we're here to discuss. So how do you then redirect that screen time, like what we discussed before, that screen time and that balance of going outside and then actually making that screen time valuable? So again, going on playtolearn.com/gamified, we're still in the needs and drivers for change, and then redirecting that screen time to make it valuable. What do you think is the opportunity here for companies like yours, Danny, to then create a stronger bond, leaning into the pain and using screen time, maybe like your family, right? And maybe across the world, right? So you're across the world, you're going to have to use screen time to maybe gamify that, and it's not necessarily able to connect in the outdoors, right? So how do you connect with your family that's spread across the world? You're going to have to use screen time. What does that look like in terms of, for you and your application, personally, and then what you're trying to do with your business?
Well, I mean, look, what we do help people connect with their children regardless of space and time, right? So my kid is in another
Mm,
country. I can, upload content to the platform that he's going to be able to see and respond to, and we can ask each other questions, and he can access this kind of repository of family history, life experience, and interesting moments and photographs from any place in the world, right?
mm,
So you can't get around screen time, but you'd hope that the time that they spend in their phones is going to be useful. I think
yeah,
what you guys are doing is super cool because you're actually helping kids learn stuff. And I mean, we can build something together where we'll have like something in Roblox about, discover who your grandparents were, or let's build a family tree, or there's a lot you can do around,
yeah,
you know, helping kids get to know their parents and their grandparents better in a
yeah,
gamified way. Like, why not, right? I mean, people are gonna be there either way. So if I
yeah,
can meet my kid in Roblox and be like, hey, what's up, buddy? Check this out. Why not? Right.
yeah. No, I think that that's the main objective here, is to see flow state learning. I mean, some kids have 11 times more retention of information in a gaming atmosphere, that they have fun and they're vulnerable. They put their guard down compared to in the classroom. They just don't have the same flow state. And so that's staggering statistics. And if you're talking about 11 times, it's just staggering to see why we aren't leaning into that more. And that's what really we're discussing here, the gamified education as a whole. And really, as a brand strategy, how do you retain more information for you as a brand with your community? We always say education before sales. How do you build that community before selling to them? It's not about selling to them, it's about educating them. And how do you build that and retain that loyalty? And that's what we're discussing. So again, we're going to go into this next. As you can see here, we just went over the screen time, making that screen time valuable. That is a cornerstone, a pillar of what Play to Learn does in gamified education. How do we make screen time valuable. And then now basically alternative solutions in place today, the nuances of marketing to Gen Z and why brands need to focus on engagement, not incentives. So in that engagement, right, what does that engagement look like to you? What does that look like regardless of Web3? This is just Web2 discussion, just building that engagement for a community and building that, like you said, the authentic community. How do you see the future of building authentic community with the younger generation, Gen Z and Gen Alpha? With your son, for example, you doing what works and what doesn't work for your son when you actually connect with him.
Yeah, I don't really think about building. I mean, like, what's the question?
Well, the nuances of marketing. So the nuances of marketing to Gen Z, and why are brands needing to focus on engagement, not incentives? So instead, it's just basically like you with your son, right? If you have to pay him to love you, it's one thing. But if he's unconditionally loving you, that's a different, right? So he'll go to
Yeah.
bat for you regardless of what you have, right? So that as a brand engagement, you have to engage with the audience where they love you for you, not just what you're going to give them, right? So what does that look like when you build an audience and build a community? How do you build that unconditional instead of it being conditional?
I don't know, man. I think I'm not a marketer. I have no idea, dude. I don't know.
Okay.
You're asking the wrong person. I have no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No. So I guess that's what we're discussing here, being able to go into that deeper to see this. Yeah, I love the Amaz. Well, start comparison you did. So I think that's, yeah, it may be a little extreme, I know, but yes,
No,
we're
it's not
just
extreme. It's just
discussing.
I mean, we're not really going to. I mean, look, when we market to Gen Z, I mean, we're not even going to be marketing to. I mean, right now we're marketing to parents, and then the whole idea is to get kids at a young age when they get their first phones to get engaged and interested in kind of learning all this stuff. We are going to
Right,
be targeting kids eventually once they are old enough or young enough, where with the message of, hey, get to know get to know your parents and your family better, right?
right,
But Gen Z is not our target market because they're not even having kids, right?
right. Well, do
So
you ever target, since you are targeting the parents and you want the kids to engage, is there
yeah,
is there a way to
you can
gamify
create
that
you can
engagement
create
of the kids?
incentives. You can
But
create
because
incentives and you
you
can gamify it. Yeah.
because you want the kids to create more memories, right? So they need to be engaged in the platform, so the parents aren't the only ones making the memories. You want the kids to actually be a part of, that drawing or art or whatever that they're making and recording or whatever. That gamification of engagement drives the parents to actually be more involved, right? So if it's like Monopoly, if you're playing Monopoly with the whole family, you have everyone being a part of it. It's a family game. You don't want to have
Mhm.
a game where just the parents are driving it. You want the engagement of the whole family, correct?
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
So that's the whole point of this discussion here, is gamifying that with that learning experience is gamified, where the stickiness of the community is across the board. And we're also tying in the incentives. So when you're in our game, meta hugs you earn, and the kids basically, if you do Deepak Chopra meditation and yoga, right, you're able to then get incentives from that, and then the parents can do that alongside you, and then they can actually give you meta hugs for your chores, right? So if you want extra meta hugs, they can actually give you what you took out the trash. Okay, I can actually give you more meta hugs. So I think that's where there's an incentive model where, yes, there is that motivation around engagement, but there is incentives as well. So I think there's that balance, right? So the parents, okay, you unconditionally love you, but there's a chores list, and regardless of you doing the chores, you're still going to get this, but then you don't want it correlated. So I think that's what's interesting, and marketing, seeing what is an incentive and what's truly engagement. So what does
Mhm.
that benefit for you in your platform, benefit of blending gamification with other market strategies? What is one way that you gamified, I guess, that connection between your platform, between them having more engagement between the grandparents, the parents, and the kids,
Well, right now
posting.
we're just creating a game where it's basically like get to know your parents and your family better, and you do it through a
Yeah,
series of questions and prompts that you send each other.
Yeah.
And kind of the more you answer, the more you kind of level up, and the more you create more content, the more you're filling out your profile, you're becoming like a better version of yourself, right? So it's kind of like in video games where, you know, you used to have agility, strength, and intelligence and magic. Now we
Yeah.
kind of break a person down based on their life lessons, by their experience, by their interests, by their
Yeah.
memories. So the more
Right.
you create content, the more you're like pumping up your avatar and your character. And that's going to be, you know, a motivating factor for users, right? And then for younger kids as well. They're going to be like, oh, okay, I got to start doing this as well. So,
Yeah.
you know.
No, that's great. That's a very tangible way. We'd love to hear in the comments other things that you guys are doing in um, gamification across your marketing strategies. Those that are seeing this live, and then you'll see this recording in other settings. Just think about your gamification, what you're doing, and how you're applying that to your brand strategy. Think about that, and we'd love to hear from you in the future. Drop us a DM, message us across social. We would love to hear from you and to get your insight around what you guys are doing for gamification. So now we're going to go move on to envisioning the future state, what that looks like, the power of gamification. Just think about it just for a second. I know you're not a futurist, Danny, but what does that look like in terms of where you see the future going, especially for your brand? What does that future gamification look like for you?
I mean, again, step by step. You know what I mean? Let's get this part right. Let's launch a platform that actually works and helps people do this, and then we're going to be able to integrate. I mean, there's a whole product roadmap. There's a bunch of ideas, but you know, when you're running a startup and when you're running a company,
Yeah,
you know,
no, of course.
we're
Focus
not.
is the key.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you
Perfect.
know,
So I
future
think then now,
gamification. I have no idea. Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that, dude.
yeah, no, I hear.
Yeah, I'm sure you got a lot of
So
smart people
you,
that talk about this. I mean, you know, I'm heads down focused on, you know,
yeah,
creating an app that actually makes it easy and interesting to
yeah,
share lessons, family history
yeah,
with kids.
and I love it. I think this is great to have all aspects on the webinar. And every week we basically have a devil's advocate understanding a CEO say, why do we even need gamification? I think that this is great to understand the nuances of the pain points of understanding as a marketer, CMO. Okay, my CEO doesn't want gamification. What do we do? You know, how do we push through that? I think it's understanding the value set of the focus and the value that you're getting from that gamification and showing measurables, KPIs, things that you can deliver. And that's what we're seeing real utility in the future, where we can actually have tangible things to gamify that. What does the future happy meal look like, for example, in our game, where you can buy a Chipotle burrito, right? And then you can have a sustainability campaign of Beyond Meat, and you can have a happy meal at Chipotle, and in real time you either drive traffic and sales online, offline, or offline, offline, online. So those digital avatars in the gamification of loyalty and systems, it's now a digital form as well. Now something that was all physical now has also become non-physical. And I think that's what we're looking towards in the future of gamification. How do we gamify digital skins? You know, and those things, the kids care about more about digital skins. In Roblox, for example, of the 58 million daily users, 18% actually change their avatar daily. And that represents who they are and their moods. And so that's what's very interesting as we represent, even to do a case study around tracking those avatars and their moods, right? Because your family platform is all about understanding those memories, right? So if you
Mhm.
understand what they're feeling, right, what they're feeling every day, it's like, oh, I felt sad. I was angry. This is the anniversary of this. This is what I went through. That's tracking those memories, right? So
Yeah.
even now, gamifying that, what they're represented, if they dress as an Oreo, that's what they want to eat, and that's their outcry of what they're doing, right? So when
Yeah.
you in the
Listen, Josh,
future, and then
I sent you a message. I just so you know, I only had 30 minutes. So
oh,
I got to
okay.
leave. Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, no, I do. I know. Thank you so much, Danny, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for the live stream, everyone joining. We will continue this every week live at noon and go from 30 minutes to an hour and discussing the power of gamification. Thank you guys so much for joining. We will have this recording for everyone in the future. Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you for everything that you've done, and we look forward
Going.
to
We
talking.
keep it
All
going.
right.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.